Good morning anymore.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And how are we doing?
I'm doing good.
I'm not so good. I'm discovering new muscles that I didn't know existed in my quest to become the triple jump champion of the world, And my quest
Charlie, the world that you're going for
on Saturday, at our event, So it's been tough training,
I thought that you had your experience as captain.
That was a very long time ago. I mean, I was in Wesley Girls. Sometimes it feels like it was a century ago. It was a very, very long time ago. So
wasn't it actually a century ago? I'm just asking.
Very funny. Rehabilitating those muscles has been tough, but yeah.
When you said muscles, I was tempted to ask which part of the body the muscles are in, but it's.
But triple jump. Which part of your body do you used to do? The jumping.
But you jump with your entire
body. It
may
require coordination from several muscles which are not directly related.
The muscles that I'm talking about are the ones that are directly related to the two legs apart and going.
Anyway,
it's okay. It's okay. Yes. You let start. But let me just inform basketball.
I don't know if I get
Charlie, but the revelations that are coming out over this joint.
I wanted to do rugby, but
rugby.
Please, dear listeners, you just come and watch. No, just you. There are things you need to see. You need to see Papaya kicking the ball.
What are you doing?
Ask George Adu Jr. I was in the Legon Hall rugby team. At some point in time, I suspect I was acting coach, but
no, you suspect.
Did you win? Did you win?
No. You suspect we're acting coach.
I said that the evidence
were
is
you
clearly
acting
there.
Coach or not?
Suspicion.
Charlie, but it's very, very. George will come in just a few minutes.
Daniel, yes. What are you doing?
Oh, mommy, I've retired from my career. I told you guys that.
Of course.
What career?
After an illustrious career of playing right winger in soccer. 90 goals, 85 assists, 70 of which were crosses from the right flank. I've already said this earlier. I don't want it to be.
Okay,
I don't want it to look like I'm blowing my horn.
Today.
Yeah, we are doing our own.
Raymond Daily Herald.
Okay, the Herald is reporting this morning the National Cathedral is getting $2 million from a ghost worshipper. That's how the Herald puts it. But this is a member of the Assemblies of God, and Reverend Frimpong Manso is the one who said so. The gentleman brought $2 million to support God's work and the building of this wonderful cathedral. And that's on the front page of the Herald.
On the front page of the Finder, CTN road deepens. 3 ex-presidents of GIF back implementation, but importers and exporters may declare strike tomorrow. No community would be left out of mobile connectivity. That's according to Ursula. And UMB commits $10.7 million to starch factory under one district, one factory. Also, UK to inject £20 million into Ghana's economy.
And the President of the Republic is speaking on the front page of the Ghanaian Times, addressing repercussions for domestic markets. Government is ready to review EPA, and this is the Economic Partnership Agreement and not the Environmental Protection Agency anyway. And that's on the front page. We will deal with saboteurs of the Planting for Food and Jobs program. Our Great Minister is warning, and the small-scale miners are threatening to expose officials, chiefs, and others who are engaged in galamsey. I can't wait. And those are the stories on the front page of the Ghanaian Times.
On the front page of the Daily Graphic, we know that Miss Harris Baldwin, who's the UK Minister for Africa, is in town, and she is saying we will not abandon friends and partners. SNIT also saves 18.1 million Ghana cedis after deleting 8,366 ghost names from pension payroll. On the back page of the Daily Graphic, trainees protest against teacher licensing and expedites process to lift ban on small-scale mining.
And the Daily Guide has these stories on its front page too. Mahama boys wicked. Kwesi Botwe fumes, and police get 100 new vehicles to fight crime. There's also one on UMB, which is signing off $11 million for one district, one factory. Picture of John Ewua, CEO of My Bank, UMB, is on the front page of the Daily Guide.
On the front page of the Today, tension in Kaswa Iron City as some makeshift structures are pulled down. Kwesi B, that's Kwesi Botwe, causes panic in NDC flag bearer race, and it's the Today that is calling him Kwesi B. KK Sapon fingered in GNPC Global Haulage deal, but he denies allegations. That's the Today newspaper.
Now, the Daily Statesman has this story on the front page. Stop the lies. Angry in Ketia, that's in Ketia, General Mosquito of the NDC, fires Anidohu. His deputy general secretary is contesting him very soon in that particular race. But Bagben is apologizing for politically incorrect statement. Not the content of the statement, but the time he issued the statement. That's the Daily Statesman's statement on that.
And there'll definitely be more on that story. In the public agenda, Africa imports $35 billion worth of food annually, despite holding 60% of the world's arable land. Stakeholders demand establishment of disability desks in Ghana's hospitals, and village dwellers raise concerns over prepaid meters.
The New Crusading Guide has a story on why government is pulling down 10 bungalows for cathedral and no court has found us guilty. Sacked VC, UGW officers fire salvos. And those are the stories on the front page of the New Crusading Guide.
And finally, from me, the Ghanaian Observer, NDC's do or die flag bearership race. Spiogabra Jabs Mahama says NDC wants a flag bearer without corruption or incompetence tag. Bishop Jackson praises President Akufo-Addo for stance on homosexuals. Bagbin apologizes over attacks on disabled persons. Petroleum Commission creates platform for local companies, and National Cathedral offers more than a house of prayer. That's according to Davis Opokuansa.
That's it. Now, the Chronicle is reporting this morning mental cases are soaring in the Brunalfa region. 3,000 cases in just 6 months. And one other story you should be interested in: military deny deployment of soldiers as land guards. And those are the stories on the front page of the Chronicle.
Right, thank you guys. And let's begin with the details. Let's start with Mr. Bagbin, shall we?
All right, so Mr. Alban S.K. Bagbin, who we know is the second Deputy Speaker of Parliament and NDC flag bearer aspirant, has apologized to Ghanaians, sort of, for his late response to issues raised in the media. Now, you remember that a few days ago, or last week, he sort of made a jab at some people who were disabled. He talked about somebody who is a stammerer being the Minister of Communication. He also talked about the fact that somebody who was blind was Minister for Chieftaincy Affairs. And there's been a lot of backlash. A lot of people have been upset, and perhaps rightly so. So yesterday he called for a press conference, and I'll quote him. He says, "I render my heartfelt apologies to you all. I want to take full responsibility for the indiscretion in going public with issues that should otherwise be private to the NDC. I have learned that such disclosure could raise emotions among some sections of the Ghanaian society." Now, I'll leave that for you to judge whether that's a genuine apology about what he said or
it's not for us to judge. Yesterday, his spokesperson was on Newsnight saying that he has not apologized for the statement.
Yes.
So Mr. Bagbin is not apologizing. Let's not put that.
It's the timing of the response.
Of the response that he's
okay,
apologized.
Well, he further goes to say that it's not that he is questioning the competence of the people in question. What he is saying is it's more about the fit, about putting people in the right places. And so for saying that he is sorry, but the headline is Bagbin apologizes to Ghanaians. So is that misleading?
Well, he did apologize for the late.
But for a different reason.
Yeah.
But he also said he's been out of the country, so he has not been able to respond to
that's
it.
why he was
So
late.
he pretty much apologized for everything else except what he actually said.
Exactly.
Oh, right. Okay, then now that we've clarified that, that's an Alban Bagbin. But former finance minister and NDC presidential hopeful Professor Kwesi Botchwey is also in the papers this morning, and his office is calling Mahama's boys wicked because apparently, or the accusation is that it is Mahama's boys who went to go and pick up the forms for the chairmanship of the party, and apparently this is very apparent because the story is not very clear or emphatic on who is saying what, but apparently Kwesi Botchwey may be the one person who can seriously contest Mahama in the race, and so therefore this is a way to sort of make him look inconsistent, as if he doesn't know what he wants to do. Therefore he's picking up these chairmanship forms, but his office is saying that he has not picked up any chairmanship forms. They're also saying that we should watch this space because in the next few days we will hear about his plans for his political life moving forward.
Yeah, interesting times coming up, Ray, in the NDC.
Wonderful.
Yes, but let's move into other matters now. The UK and Ghana.
Yes, Ghana and its former colonial master actually signed yesterday an MOU to create 15,000 jobs. And this involves the deployment or the giving of Ghana some 20 million pounds. Yes, in this case. Now, the interesting part is that the UK minister who signed for and on behalf of his state, Harriet Baldwin, actually she initiated, insisted that this was in furtherance of Ghana's Ghana Beyond Aid agenda, which was being championed by the ruling government in this case. So we are giving you money to promote your push your state beyond the aid we are giving you agenda. So that is one interesting development that she put out there. And that, okay, she made it clear that you're going to abandon states like Ghana that we have there. You want to play the sound now?
Yes. Let's hear Madam Harriet Baldwin.
It will also focus on localizing activity and making sure that more of the value-adding activities take place within Ghana for the export markets. And it will focus on developing the kind of infrastructure that attracts inward investment. We estimate that the programme should attract in at least £50 million of further inward investment into Ghana, which should create 15,000 jobs for Ghanaians.
So that was Harriet Baldwin.
But it's an interesting development. Let me take the numbers and look at it keenly from this point. Now, according to our Labour Force survey, we have more than 1.2 million unemployed people in the country. Put that number aside. 15 million is 1.25% of that particular unemployment number. So it's like a drop in the ocean.
You mean 15,000?
50,000, yes. The 1.2 million we are dealing with. Now, there's an important point. However, not long ago, we spent, and this 20 million that we are talking about, which is going to create a 15,000 job, is 122 million Ghana cedis. Not long ago, we gave out 610 million Ghana cedis to do liquidity support. And we are still chasing the money from quarters and corners to find out what happened to this amount of money.
Oh, but the 610 million was one bank.
Yes, one.
The other one was 820.
I don't want to raise my blood pressure, so I'm starting from the lowest figure in this particular case. Now, the 610, if you use the 50 million for 122 million from the UK, that means that we could have created 5 times the number of jobs that the 15 million, the 15,000 is the 20 million.
That is 20 million is creating.
Yes.
So if we had not given out 610 million as liquidity support,
and we asked the UK to stay home,
we asked the UK to stay home,
we could have used 610 million to create 75,000 jobs in the country.
What about 8 billion? Like, I'm afraid to ask.
So that is the point I knew we were going to go to. We could, let's be clear, solve 89% of our unemployment problem with 8 billion if you are using just these numbers as the basis for it.
So the money that we are going to use to cover the hole that was left by the 7 banks.
Yes.
And you know that number has gone higher potentially.
Yeah, and it's going to go higher.
It's going to go higher because the difference between the assets and liabilities of some of the banks it's been going higher. When investigations went on. So for Unibank, for instance, it's gone from about 5.3 billion to about 7.4 billion. And so we are going to look at not 8 billion, but about 9.3 billion.
Brilliant. And this may cover almost 90% of the current unemployment figure that the Statistical Service put out in the Labour Force survey.
No, like, are we getting like 90%? That means that if you take every 10 unemployed people, 9 of them will be hired. Every unemployed graduate you see on the street. So think about it when you're driving to work this morning. The boys who sell dog chains on the streets, the people who are the girls who are carrying water. Think about it very well. If you have someone who has dependents and you have nephews and nieces who call you every day and ask you for money, they'll
actually stop calling you
if we had used this 8 billion to create jobs.
Yes.
Raymond, let's go.
Hey, in other news, UMB is also giving the $11 million I told you about to the one factory. They promised it to help them.
They actually promised 100 million last year, but they are giving it out in tranches.
Yes, so that's the amount of money they are putting out there in that particular one. Other banks should follow suit. Yes, please proceed.
Well, since he's asking you to proceed.
Right. Well, good news in a way. SNITS is saying that they've managed to save 18.1 million Ghana cedis following the deletion of 8,366 ghost names, which is actually really good. So the Director General of SNITS, Dr. John Ofori Tinkran said that 43,618 names are to be deleted if they fail to go through the verification process. So what's happening is that if they suspect that that the name is a ghost name, what they do is that they don't pay out the pension. If you do not come to reactivate, and they assume that you're either dead or that it's a ghost name. So that's what they've been doing so far, and they've managed to save 18.1 million, which is roughly about 2.6 million a month. So what's happening is that the funds that are not being given out have been kept in a special account at the Bank of Ghana. They've also written to all the local banks asking that if any money is not claimed for a period of over 6 months, that money be sent back so that it can be lodged and perhaps used for other things. Most importantly, they're urging all retired workers on the scheme who have not registered biometrically to do that as soon as possible. And if you turn 72 now, you're required to authenticate your account once a year.
Right, thank you, Enima Raymond.
Now, let me go to mental cases in the country and particularly focus on the Brownsville region. Now, the Brownsville Regional Health Coordinator, Mental Health Department Specific, Joseph Yer, is worried about what he considers to be the disturbing nature where, mental disorders are on the increase. They are soaring through the roof in a very terrible way. Now, let's look at the figures clearly. 3,168 new cases were recorded from January to June this year alone. 6 months, 3,000 of them. And the men are leading, which is surprising because mostly the women leading the statistics nationally. 1,642 male, 1,526 male, but for different reasons. For men, it's poverty that is pushing them to that particular area. That's the main contributing factor. For the women, it's marital problems. Now, there's also another very important contributing factor for women specifically. The problem is that 20% of the mothers in the country, according to this survey, especially in our part of the world, they have what's called depression after childbirth. And
postpartum depression.
Yes, that's how they call it. After childbirth, they say postpartum. That's how
postpartum.
The big English people call it. Yeah, and he said that in the Brownsville region, you are staggering, and I'm talking about her problem. Now, 58 cases of attempted suicide and 269 depression cases were recorded within the same period. This alarming nature of it is making it difficult for them to run it, and we do know that nationally, more than 90% of the cases we can't treat. Not only don't we have the drugs for it, the mental institutions across the country do not have what it takes. Their budget is always underfunded in ways that we can't fund it. And yet we are not preventing the marital problems and the poverty that is making people not so much in the best mental state in the country.
And also just the education as well, because if you're talking about postpartum depression in this part of the world, it's not really something that's recognized. You can have the baby blues and stuff after you have a kid, and they'll tell you, go and pray, or is this, or is that, as opposed to actually dealing with the fact that some of these things are caused by hormonal imbalances and stuff like that. So
right, so it's a very serious thing. In simple terms.
Yes, but it's also okay.
Okay, we are going online. We are going online now. The online news review is brought to you by Zenith Bank in your best interest. Goil Good Energy. Download the Safe Doctor app now from the Google Play. Safe Doctor, the future of better medical care. You've got great love for your vehicle. You want the engine to last longer and to perform to its maximum. It's okay. Goil has a new super synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubricants for you. These specially engineered superior engine oils work efficiently on all modern petrol and diesel engines. They clean, protect, reduce fuel consumption, prolong oil change intervals, and enhance engine performance from startup till you switch off. Go to any Goil filling station and grab the new Goil Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Engineering innovation for your vehicle has arrived. Goil Good Energy. Did you know that paying school fees can be as easy as ABC? And did you know that Zenith Bank provides the most reliable school fees payment service? Well, Now you know. Visit any of our business locations nationwide for easy and prompt school fees payments, or visit our website zenithbank.com.gh to pay school fees via Zenith Global Pay. If you are a Zenith Bank customer, Zenith School Fees Payment, your stress-free solution to paying school fees. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. We begin with myjoyonline.com. Islamic organization opposes erection of National Cathedral. The Coalition of Muslim Organizations, COMOG, is opposing the erection of a national cathedral, and you can go on myjoyonline.com for those details. Teachers' license approach is terrible. NAGRAT president explains opposition. President of NAGRAT, Angel Karbonu, is explaining why teachers are opposed. Did you hear the head of the National Teaching Council yesterday on Newsnight?
Yeah. She was so livid.
I'm telling you. She was like, I am surprised that Gifty.
Yeah, is the one raising the concern now. She sat in the meeting. She didn't raise those concerns.
No, but if truly what she is saying is anything to go by, then it means that fundamentally the teachers just don't want to write the exam.
Because nobody likes exams.
What she's saying, if what she's saying is anything to go by. Yes. But then, of course, they still have a side of the story. And if you want to get the full side of the story from NAGRAT, go on myjoyonline.com and read what Angel Karbonu has to say. Now, the BBC.com says Kenyan top judge has been granted bail. Any more?
Yeah, so I mean, and with what Raymond said, I just realized something. You know, he said that the leading cause of depression for men was poverty, and the leading cause of depression for women was marital problems, which is men. So the leading cause of depression problems is men. Just saying. I mean, if you're going to follow the statement,
marital problems. No, wait.
If women have marital problems, it's with their men. So everything is the men.
How about they having the problems? No,
marital, everything starts with men.
No,
so
anymore.
BBC Minutes is coming up.
No, but anymore, how about they are having marital problems because of their personal issues and not necessarily because of the men?
The men.
Well, we'll take these important messages and then the BBC comes.